Hello everyone and welcome to Makeover Monday Watch Me Viz for week 42 2022. I am your host Andy Kriebel and thank you for joining me today. If you're new to this channel, my name is Andy. I'm also the host of the Dual Access podcast, which goes live once a week and is also available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And yeah, also, let's see, I give tips every week as well. And please subscribe, share with other people you know. I create this channel and I provide all this content to help you all become great at Tableau. So yeah, let's get to it. So this week we are looking at FDA Food Inspections. So let me hop over to the website of the original visualization. And it basically looks like it's kind of like a KPI report, if I had to guess. So we've got inspections by region, so domestic and foreign. The classification, so NAI and OAI and VAI, those are defined in the data down at the bottom. So we have something like NAI is no action indicated. VAI is anyway, we can figure that out when we get into the data set. So I think what I'm going to do, I don't have a lot of time today, and again I apologize for starting a bit late. I think I'm just going to go straight into maybe trying to create a KPI dashboard. Just do something simple, make it informative, not worry a ton about the analysis, and just focus more on building a KPI dashboard. So I'm going to look at these same breakdowns that they have and see what I can come up with. So this is what the data set looks like. If we go kind of across, you see we've got some location-based information, the fiscal year. Now in theirs, they use the fiscal year, which is why you see some of the data go into 2023, which looks a bit strange to me. So I'm probably going to actually go with the inspection date. Seems like a better thing to use. Okay, so I'm going to go to sheet 1. And I'm going to start by just dragging sheet 1 count into the view, and there are 264,640 inspections. So it's kind of hard to tell. But that's across all time, which is fine. Okay, so I'm going to move that to the detail shelf. And let's say we want to look at that over time. So where's my inspection date? So I'm just going to right click and drag that to the columns. And for now, let's maybe choose just continuous years. Yeah, because we've got 15 years worth of data. And let me move the count back to the rows. And we can see the number of inspections by year. And the other thing they had it split up by was foreign and domestic. So I'm going to guess, I don't see a foreign or domestic column in the data set. So I'm just going to guess that maybe foreign means, or domestic means US and foreign means everywhere else. So I'm just going to try to break this up by country and see what it looks like. Okay, so we've got the US and then everything else. So, okay, so what I'm going to do then is I'm going to go down to the US here. And I'm going to, okay, so I can't create a set from that. That's fine. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and create a group. Let's do a group today. So let's call this, what do they call it, foreign or domestic? I'm going to call it, yeah, foreign, EIGN, or domestic. Okay, and I'm going to grab the USA and group that, and I'm going to call that domestic. And then I'm going to include other, and that's going to be everything else. So I'm just going to rename that as foreign. I don't tend to use groups very often, so it's that's kind of why I'm playing around with it a bit today. Okay, so we get something like that. What do you get? 420. This is by year. I'm just going to bring fiscal year in here instead, just so we could try to match up the numbers. So 503 foreign. 446. Okay, so it's close. So my data might be a bit more up to date than theirs. Let's see what this looks like if we look at it on a quarterly basis. Yeah, nothing particularly interesting. So maybe what I'll do then is oh, I should, foreign or domestic, it renamed it. Okay, let's edit the alias. Let's call this domestic. Okay, there we go. I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to try to build just a simple, right, so that's inspection region. So let's call this inspections by region. And I want to go ahead and create some big numbers in the top. So I'm going to first create a calculated field. Let's call this total inspections. And this is going to be just the level of detail expression and then the sum of the sheet 1 count. Is that? Oh no, we just need to do count of sheet 1. That, okay. And then that's going to give us the total number. So if I drag that to the detail shelf, I can, let me just insert it here. So insert total inspections, and we should get that 264,000. And then I'm going to create 2 more, one for domestic and one for foreign. So I'm going to create another calculated field, and let's call this domestic inspections. I don't know why I did. Oh, I don't want to do that because now, yeah, I don't want to do that. I'm going to create a new calculated field. Let's call this domestic inspections. And I should hopefully be able to say something like if foreign or domestic equals domestic, then 1. End. So this is, I'm just using the number 1 just because it's going to count each one time. So I'm going to sum those up. So hopefully this gives me the number of domestic as well. So let's put that on detail. And I'm just going to move that down to the next sheet and then domestic inspections. Okay, so 227,000. The easy way to check this is I'm going to just exclude foreign. And I got 227,465. Okay, yeah, so that number's right. And then I'm going to duplicate this field. And let's call this one foreign inspections. And let's say make this foreign. Okay, so let's put that onto detail. And now what I'm thinking is let's just center all of these. I could call this one total inspections. And let's maybe make that 10 point. And then wonder how I can do this. I was going to try to do it all on one sheet, but I don't think that's going to work. Okay, let me just try something. And then let me insert foreign, and then let's call this domestic foreign. And I need to come up with 2 colors. So domestic, I'm going to make let me see, let me use my Makeover Monday colors. So I've got, I think that's one of them. I know it's this one. Where are my Makeover Monday colors? Oh, I'll just use this one. That's fine. Oh, and these need to be 10 point as well. To match that. Okay, so domestic, let's make this one maybe, let's make it blue. Let's make the foreign maybe red. And then make this one blue. Make this one red. I'm just going to see if that lines up properly. Yeah, so it doesn't quite line up. I was hoping I could show it all in one sheet. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this out into 3 different views then. So let me, I'm just going to duplicate this twice. And I'm going to call this one, this is just going to be my total inspection. So let's get rid of the breakdown. Get rid of that and get rid of that. Okay. So this is just my total inspections. So let's make this one, let's maybe make it bold, maybe make it 22, something like that. And then let's make this line black. And I'm going to label the end of the line, the most recent. Okay, something like that. So let's edit the axis and get rid of that. Okay. So actually, maybe a better way to do this. Let me just try something else before I move on. Let me, I'm going to duplicate this sheet, but instead of having this in the title, so let me just reset. I'm going to, I should be able to do something like, let me try something here. I'm going to call this one total. Okay. So this one I'm just going to call domestic. And okay, so I'm just going to bring back the domestic. And then foreign, let's edit this. I'll show you why I'm going to do this in a minute. So this is going to be that. Okay. Okay, so I can't rename the sheet 1 count, so I'm just reproducing it by calling it, by just putting the number 1 in the calculation. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put inspections on here. I'm going to then put domestic inspections on the axis as well, and then foreign inspections. So I'm going to make it 3 separate lines, and I'm going to put measure names onto the rows. Okay, and then let's see, what am I going to do here? Okay, so that's not helping me very much. Okay, let me just get rid of this. I think what I need to do is that, and then just put, let's get rid of that. Just put inspections on here. But why isn't that splitting it up by foreign and domestic? Oh, because I've got the wrong field on there. This should be here. Okay, there we go. So, but this still isn't doing what I want. Okay, I'm going to leave it like this for now. I'll leave that one there for now. Okay, so inspections by region. Okay, and then let's just rename this. All right, what I want to do is I want to put a big number next to each one of these. Actually, I still don't like how this looks. So let me, okay, this is what I'm going to do. So that just gives me my total inspections. Okay. Insert. I'm just going to make it 3 sheets. Okay. So, the countries. I mean, the countries, the inspection. I believe it's the country that it belonged to, not the one that not the one that was carried out. Good question. So let's call this one total inspections. And then here I'm going to actually insert the sheet name instead. Okay. Okay, and then let's duplicate. And this time we want to put domestic inspections here. Wrong one. I wonder if I could. Oh, that didn't work. Okay, so all I was trying to do here was get inspections. So this should be domestic. Oh no, I can just filter. So let's call this one foreign. And I'll put that on to color. And then let's make this one domestic. And put domestic on color. Okay, so we've got that. And then we've got foreign. So let's change the color of this. So now I can choose my color palette. So let's go to my Watch Me Viz and let's maybe choose the orange color. Okay, something like that. So what I'm picturing now is, what am I looking for? Okay, so I use this tool called Excalidraw to kind of draw out dashboards. So let me just start with a square here. So this is going to be one number here, and then one number here and one number here. Okay, so those are going to be my, these are going to be my three bands going across the view, something like that. Okay, so that'll be those three things. That's what I'm trying to do there. Okay, and then, so that's sort of this first, let's see. Window, what happened here? There we go. So then they have it broken down by classification. So let's see what it looks like if we do, where's classification? Okay, and let's again look at by year. Let's look at it by year. And let's put inspections. Okay. No action indicated, official action indicated. Okay, so those are just the three. Okay, so maybe there's a better way to do this one. What if I make it a running total? Yeah, that's not particularly useful either, is it? Because I've got those three. I mean, I could just repeat, I could just do the same thing I did for these three, but do, yeah, let's just do that. I'm just gonna keep it pretty simple. So let's call this one, where is it here? What was that? Classification. So let's call no action indicated. And now if I add that to context, okay, and then this one we want to put official action indicated. And then the third one is voluntary action. And when I put this into context, what that does is it updates my big number on the top because that filter gets applied before I'm calculating my total. So this is voluntary action. Okay, so now we've got those 3 sheets as well going across. Maybe I don't need color on these. So I'm just going to keep everything maybe black and white. Okay, so let me get rid of that. All right, so now, so we've got that. I'm just going to clear this sheet so we don't need that one. And I better actually save along the way here too. Week 42, FDA, is it just FDA inspections? I think we're just calling it FDA Food Inspections. Yeah. Always save along the way, just in case. Okay, so that covers these first 2 sections. And then we have it by, oh, that's the same data. Okay, so now we're looking at it by, looks like product type. So maybe for product type, we'll just make it a simple bar chart. So let's just do inspections and sort, entire view, and then let's again just make it black and white. And for, let's turn the labels on. And so now we can clean this up. So I don't need both the labels and the header. And then I'm going to format it by getting rid of the grid lines, getting rid of my 0 line, get rid of my axis rulers. Okay, so that cleans that up. And then hide field labels. I don't think it's just food inspections. I think it's just inspections. That's okay. We'll worry about that later. So this is inspection. Inspections by product type. Okay, and then okay, so that's that part. And then this is the top 10 citations. Top 10 citations. So basically what I'm going to try to do today is just reproduce the original posted citations. Let's see. Citations. Is there a, what's classification? I know we did that one. Let's see. Legal name, posted citations. Okay, so what does this look like? Veterinary medicine. Okay, so maybe it's that column, project area. And let's do inspections. But I don't see veterinary foods 21. Yeah, I don't know what, let me see, let's put product type. Okay, so that's just a drill down. Okay, so maybe what I could do then is maybe I could use this and then put a drill down on here. So why don't let me create a set here, and I'm going to call it product type set, hit OK. Okay, so let's say if, oh no, I'm going to call this, I'm going to call this sub product type. Say if product type set, then I want to bring in my, what was it just called? Project area. Let's see. Else. Okay, so let's try that. I'm going to put that here. And now I see that breakdown. And I want to sort this one as well. Descending by the field inspections. Okay, good. So now I can turn on my set actions. So worksheet actions. Add my set action. I'm going to call this update product type set. Target set is product type set. Assign values remove after they click. Okay, and I'm going to then also put this on color. So let's make the outs. Okay, good enough. I'll make the ins gray. Maybe I should make the ins like red. Maybe something like that. Okay, maybe something like that. So now when I click on devices, I see those. Okay, so now we're seeing the breakdown of the different types. Okay, so that works. I'm going to set my font to be Tableau medium, maybe 11, and then let's set it to match smart color. Okay, so now what does it look like? Okay, so I think that's pretty good. So let me format this view again and get rid of my row divider and get rid of my column divider. Okay, good, I like that. And I'm going to remove this from the view. And let's save. All right. Yeah, if you have any questions along the way, feel free to pop them in a chat. I've got the chat up on my phone today. Okay. So, all right, so I think that's good. I don't want this in the tooltip. What does total mean there? Tooltip. Okay, so let's fix this. So I'm going to do product type. Maybe make that 14. Okay, so I'm going to click on one. Okay, so I think that's good. Actually, I'm going to switch that around so that these are like 10 and that these are like 14. So then the inspections number is larger. Okay. All right. This looks okay. So total foreign inspections, I don't need. This should just be total inspections. So I've got that wrong there. I had the wrong field in these. Okay. So, all right, so that's good. Top 10 citations, so we don't need that one. Let's see, so country area. Yeah, I think maybe let's focus on, I think I'm going to focus on just the United States for this analysis. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit my data source filters for my FDA inspections. Country, United States. Oh, you know what? This must be. So back to the countries, mean the countries the inspected company belonged to or the country in which the inspection was carried out. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the website here and see what it actually says here. So if we look here, legal name, inspection program. Okay, so what does it say? right, let me just look at this here. So this is one of the citations. Let's see what it says here. See if it has any details. Nothing. Oh, it's trying to return something. Okay. So the question now is, if I do just inspections from the US, let me just do that anyway. So country area. Oh, that kind of throws off my domestic or foreign, so that doesn't really help. And what are my two unknown? And then this is South Korea. Okay, there we go. So I could put inspections maybe onto size. Let's see what we get there. But then so many of the inspections are in the US. Okay. So what I could do is I could just get rid of the idea of foreign and domestic. Okay, so let me delete those. And then now I'm going to just focus on just the US. So country. And then United States. Okay, so we're going to focus on just the US. Okay, so total inspections. Yeah, because almost all of them are in the US anyway. Okay, top 10 citations. We don't need that. Okay, so what we could do is, let's say we bring country into the detail. Okay, so now we've got let's see, Guam, American Samoa. Okay, so I'm going to now try to join this to a spatial file. So I'm going to, well, first off, I'm going to save. And then I'm going to edit my data source. And I will link to this data source that I'm going to be adding here for you to use later. So it's a spatial file. I'll include a link in the description. So it's, let's see, it's under my drive. Oh, nice. Okay. Well, that's not going to work particularly well then, is it? So it's on my Google Drive. At least I thought it was. Maybe Google Drive's not running. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so what? Okay, so I'm going to do this a different way then. So Joshua, Milligan, Tableau, shape, US shape. Here we go. So IBAD, in the beginning we use sum inspection. Can't we use count sheet? Yes, they're the same thing. Okay, so this is what I'm going to link you all to. Here's an updated version with Puerto Rico. All right, so I need to unzip this. And I'm just going to stick this maybe in my Makeover Monday folder. Okay. So I want to add a spatial file, Makeover Monday, data, and spatial. Okay, now I need to tell it how to join. So is that working right? So let me look at the data. So those are the full names. Okay, so that should be good. So I'm going to now, let's delete this sheet, create a new one. And now what I want to do is I'm going to drag the state abbreviation onto the label. And I'm going to bring in the number of inspections onto color. So we get something like that. Hi, Maggie. Okay, so let me background layers. Sorry, Eva and Maggie just got home. All right, and I'm going to get rid of my row divider, and I'm going to get rid of my column divider. Okay, so we get something like that. And I'm going to, again, try to make this maybe a gray palette to be consistent with what I've been using. And let's do that. Okay. All right, so this is our inspections by state. Okay. Right. I probably don't need that card. All right, so now I've got the total inspections, and then I've got these three all together. I wonder if I put that on color, what does that look? Okay, so yeah, I don't like that. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to edit the axis here. Get rid of that. I wonder if I did it like this, if I put them all. Okay, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to edit the axis, and I'm going to make them independent and uncheck include zeros. Okay, so I'm making spark lines here. Yeah, I think this is gonna be better. And then what if I move it there? Okay. Let me go back here. Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter. Okay, so maybe in this sheet, I'm not going to worry about the trend over, yeah, I'll leave it, what the heck. Okay, so let's just start building something and see what we get. So I always start by floating in a vertical container, and I'm going to make it the same size, oops, as my dashboard. Okay, and then, yep, that should be okay. And then I'm going to bring in a text box. This is going to be my FDA, what are they calling this? What happened to my dashboard here? Go back. Okay, so what's this called? Inspections, so I could call this FDA Inspections, and I'm just going to look at the years. So this goes from 2008 to 2022. Like 22. Let's maybe make this like 12. Okay, something like that. What about the inspections that we're showing for territories not included in that map? Okay, yeah, so those are gone now, Michael, aren't they? So Guam, some of the others, those are not going to be in the data set. They shouldn't be in the data set at all now because I did a join. So those will have fallen out. So yeah, those will be gone now. Let's drag this in, edit the height, 10. I'm just putting a nice little line going across here. Background, let's make that black. Okay, so now I've got a line. And so now what I want to do, let's see, I'm going to grab a blank in here just for a placeholder. And let's put total here. And then what if I put these three next to each other? Okay, and then let's make these distribute evenly. And then down here, I'm going to have another container. That's going to go in, and then my map is going to go in, something like that. Okay, so let's edit the height of this. Let's make it 200. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, not great. I don't love it. What if I... Okay, so I still have that there. Okay, so I'm going to grab my blank in there again. This time I'm going to put a horizontal. What happened there? And then this I'm going to... Yep. So then in this horizontal, I'm going to also put a blank, and I'm going to maybe try putting them going down the view instead. So no action. What's going on here? Let's get rid of that one. All right, I need to start over. Okay, so, and then this is just in that container. Okay, so I need to think about how I want to design this, because what I could do is, instead of having each of these 3 sheets, I could just have this, maybe I could just have some filters in here instead. Let's see. Okay, I'm just going to try to reorganize this a bit. So let me bring in a vertical container, and I'm going to put a blank inside of that vertical container. And then I'm going to edit the height of this for now. Let's make it 500. Okay, so now in this container, I'm going to put my... I need to put a vertical container as well. So vertical, and then total, no action, official action, voluntary action. And then over here, I'm going to have maybe my inspections. I still don't like how this is looking. Let's get rid of that. Delete. Just trying to figure out how I want this to look. Let's get rid of that. Delete. Okay, so I'm back here. All right, let's just drag our map into here. And then maybe what I do, okay, so let's do this. Let's say, no. Okay, I think maybe what I'll do is I'm going to change this one that says, so there's a no action official. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to edit this, and I'm going to just choose these 2, and I'm going to say action taken. Okay, so now in my dashboard, I just have 3 of them. Okay, so I think that's a bit better. So let me edit the axis and get rid of the title. All right, and then let's edit the axis, get rid of the title. And then I'm going to just, maybe just, let's see. The problem now is I need to kind of fix the axes, which I don't. Okay, let me just duplicate the, oh shoot, don't do that. Okay. So let's try it this way. Okay, so that is, so no action taken. Okay, so let's do this. Get rid of that, and let's reset the title. Okay. So I'm going to split those that way instead, and I'm going to put, so I don't need that, and I'll put classification group, where'd that go, on to color. Okay, so now we've got those two. I'll clean up the colors later. Okay, all right, so if I go to my dashboard now, I don't need this one. Okay, so that's the no action sheet. Okay, so now in this dashboard, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have classification group there, inspections on the text, and then classification group. Where'd it go? No, that's okay. So let's text. We can just let's hide the reset title, and let's call this action summary. Right. So I'm just going to increase the size. Okay, let me just kind of show you what I'm trying to do. So I'm just going to put numbers above those two. So let me drag this container here, put this chart here, and then put my summary above it. So hide title, entire view. So this is, how wide is this? This edit. Oh, that's not what I want to do. Okay. So let's edit the width, and let's make this, right. So then this, let's edit the height, and let's make this one like 50. Edit the height. Okay, so now if I go back to this summary, I'm going to center align the text, and I'm going to make them bigger. So let's see what that looks like now. Okay, not quite. So let's make this one maybe 32. Okay, let's go back into here. And then I think they just need to be bold if I remember right. So this is Tableau light bold. Okay. So this should be Tableau light and then bold. And then I'm going to put classification group onto text as well. Go in here, and let's make this maybe 11. Okay. So now I can hide those headers, and let's edit the height. Let's make it maybe, let's try 100 and see what that looks like. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now that's lined up nice and neat. I could probably, leave the headers there. Okay, let's lay out. Okay, something like that for now. And then the last thing I want to put in here then is, so that's in there. Okay, so I want to put this here. then this is going to go in that container, and then this is going to go in here as well. All right, let's make this maybe 300. Trying to clean up the view a bit. And then this one we want no row dividers. And this one I probably should also have my classification group on color. Okay. All right, so now we got something like that. So that all looks okay. Let's make this let's do some inner padding of like 20. Right, okay. So now I'm going to make the whole dashboard bigger. So let's make it wider or taller and wider. So now I get a bit more room for my map and a bit more room for my bar chart. Now if I click on the bar chart, the action doesn't work. So I need to choose Worksheet Actions. And I need to change this to be a dashboard action. So dashboard, which sheet is it? It is, is it inspections by product type, I think. Yeah. Missing field on total instruments, okay. Okay, so that works. All right, so then I want to use this as a let's go ahead and put some, set the outer padding to 0, inner padding to 20, outer padding to 0, inner padding to 20. Okay. I also need to make sure I put my credits at the bottom. So this is data source is, what is it here? U.S. Food and Drug Administration, U.S. Food. Okay, so something like that. Right, so what does this look like in full screen now? Not great. Oh God, I don't like this at all. Let's just center line that. Center line that. So now I can use this one as a filter. So if I click on main, but now I need to make sure that this filter gets added to context. Okay, so it shouldn't change anything there. Just making sure. Okay, great. So that looks like it works okay. The size of the dashboard isn't great. Inspections by state. Okay, so let's look at the tooltip. So let's see. We're going to put this state. Where's the state? Onto tooltip. And let's just make this state. And I think we made this 14 before, and let's make this one maybe 10 or 11. Okay, so that looks good. Okay, I'm going to save. Yeah, Andy, can you explain how the context filter works? Yeah, so if I go back over to this sheet, I have a level of detail expression here. So this calculation in the top here is called total inspections. So if I edit this calculation, you'll see it's a fixed level of detail expression. So really what this is saying is fixed and then nothing. So we're not fixing it on any dimensions. So if I remove this from context, notice how, let me go back here to my dashboard. So I've removed that from context. If I click on like Minnesota, for example, that number at the top doesn't change. So I want, in this sheet, I want this filter to apply before my level of detail expression gets calculated. So I need to do that by adding it to context. So now we can see Minnesota only has 7,200 inspections. So hopefully that helps. Let's get rid of that on color. And let's get rid of that on color. Right. Okay. Let's edit the width here. Okay, there we go. So that looks better. All right, so that's now updating everything. I could probably also do it with this sheet. So why don't I make this a filter as well? So if I click on that, it also breaks it down. Click on it again. Let's see, let me look up here and see what happened. Okay, so again, notice my big numbers don't change at the top. That's because this needs to be put into context, this action filter. So if I go to here, total inspections, notice this is not in context. Once I added the context, you'll see that number get updated. So let me add to context and then add to context. So it's part of something called the order of operations. So I hope that helps you, Murado. Is it okay that the axis and the bands are different? Yeah, so Carrie, I was thinking about that. So it would be nice if they were the same, right? So what I could do, perhaps, is, let's see, if I go on here, and if I put on, let me see what happens if I put totals on. So, and then, okay, so maybe this will be a better way to do it. Totals, let's move them to the left, and then let's format the total. And what can we, so it just says all. Where the heck is my, so the total, oh, where the heck do I, format, where am I missing here in totals? Oh, here we go. So let's call this one total. That didn't work because that now says all. That's okay. I'll just leave it like that for now. So if I go to, let me go back to this sheet. So now I've got my 227 there as well. I click on Washington. That updates. Okay, so maybe what I could do, let me see if this will work. So I'm going to go back to this sheet. And let's see if I can just make this all one sheet. So let me go to totals, row grand totals. And then let's see, totals, row totals to the left. Okay, here we go. So this is a good idea. Yeah, thank you for that. So let's put those on color. So I don't need that now. Let's put classification also onto color. Right, so now what I actually could do is I could get rid of this one. And now This looks a bit better. Notice how the axes don't line up. So what I'm going to do is in this sheet, I'm going to create a dummy axis. I'm going to call it average of 1. That's not what I wanted. No, I'm just going to put just a dummy header in there. And this is going to allow me to hopefully line things up right. So let me I'm going to manually move that over, manually move this one over, and now I can hide the field labels. There we go. So now everything lines up nice and neat. So let's format this one and get rid of our, let's see, what is it here? Our, what am I looking for here? Where's my total? Here we go, totals. And then totals. All right, and then same thing here. Okay, so now that all lines up. Why did this one not work? Okay, there we go. So if I go in here now, let me see what happens if I go into this sheet. Let's change our colors. And let's maybe let me go to my Watch Me Viz colors. Thank you for these ideas, by the way. Very, very useful. So let's move no action taken. Let's maybe make that one, yeah, let's leave it blue. Action taken, let's make it orange. Okay, and then can I edit the alias? Yep. Oops. Okay, so it doesn't like that. Okay. Yeah, so that fixes that. So that's a good idea. And then in this dashboard, so now we click on that, everything filters, go back, and it looks like that. Okay, so can we use containers like you did in video of, yeah, so Ibad, this is what I'm doing in this video. I am using containers that way. First time catching live stream, do you have a video on dummy axes? I don't have a particular video on dummy axes. The only reason I'm doing a dummy axis here is literally just so I can line these axes up. Okay, so let me go in. If I hover, okay. What I don't want to happen is I don't like this clicking here, how it does that. So what I'm going to do is in that sheet, let's go to that sheet. I'm going to create a, let's call this dummy highlight. And let's just put dummy. Going to add this field onto detail, and then up here on my actions, I want to highlight the dummy. So I think what should happen now, I may need to change it to be a dashboard action, right? So let's call this dummy highlight. Okay, well that didn't work. Okay, so let me go back. All right, so I'm going to, let's put dummy back on there. Okay, so what I don't like is I don't like when I click on it how it, or maybe I use this as a filter as well. Let's try that. So if I click on that, no, that doesn't work. Okay, so we're going to get rid of that. What if I click on that? Okay, so I'm going to say click to filter. Let's make that 9 point and semi. Okay, so what else? I think we are pretty good now. So so maybe what I could do is I could actually make this an actions. Let me try this again. So if I make this an action, I click, these change down here. Okay, that's what I want, but I don't want it to apply to this sheet here. So I need to go up to my dashboard actions, and in my let that's my, which one is it here? Let's try this one. That's my action summary. So I don't want that to apply to my action summary, and I don't want it to apply to my no action sheet. I'm just going to rename this. This is our time series. So now when I click on that, it updates the charts at the bottom, but not the other ones. Okay, so that's, I think that's okay. Right, all right, so I like the size of these, so I'm gonna just pin the height of those. Oops, reset that. Okay, I don't want my users to be able to resize the map, so I'm just gonna turn off all of these controls. Actually, I don't like the height of this, so let's edit the height of it. I'm gonna make it a bit shorter. Okay, I like that, that's good. So now this container here, I'm going to, let's see, so this one, let's pin the size of that. And then what else? We want to pin the height of that. And then let's unpin that one. No. So something's going on here. Why is this one? So it's a fixed width. Okay. Oh, I want to get rid of, I want to unpin that. There we go. Okay. So now let's have a look. Okay, I'm going to put another vertical line through the middle. And let's edit the height. Let's make it 10. And then again, I'm going to put a background color. And this time I'm going to set the whole thing around it to be 20. So I want it to kind of shrink in a bit. And what does that look like? Okay, so I'm just trying to kind of split this into sections. So I'm going to, let's make it 50 to the left and 50 to the right. Okay, I'm just trying to kind of bring it in a bit from the outside edges. Okay, I think that's probably good enough. Can you float a transparent blank over your bands? I could. I think you're saying to prevent carry. I think you mean if I wanted to prevent any action on this, what I would probably do is just set a like a click action on, or no, I would set a filter action on here to disable this. So if I didn't want that to apply, what I would do is I would go into my dashboard and I'm going to set up a dashboard action, and I would remove this one. So now when I click on this, it doesn't do anything. But if I want to get rid of that where they can't highlight it, I would add a filter action, and let's call this my dummy filter. And I would only want it to go from the action summary to the action summary on select, and then down here I'm going to say go from like dummy highlight to something that's not in the view, like maybe project area. And now when I click on it, it won't, oh, but that filters it out now. Anyway, there's a way you can kind of fake it. There we go. But I do want it to filter, so I'm gonna leave that alone. Okay. There might be a way we could do some better colors here. So let's look at this color legend. And I do have a white to black color palette. Here we go. So let's try this one. The problem is California is so dominant. Okay, so let's try Rhode Island. Everything updates. devices. Okay. And I want to make sure these are, I want to make sure this is pinned. Yeah, so the problem is just California is just overpowering the rest of them, but that's okay. I'm going to leave it like that. Yeah, so to prevent the highlight, so Carrie, I have some other videos. You would do it with like a dummy filter is how you would do that. Do you happen to have your preferences.tbs publicly available somewhere? Those color palettes look neat. So I think I do have my color palettes handy. I'm pretty sure I do, but let me just show it to you so you can see what it looks like. So I'm going to open with other, and let's do all. And this is called, what is it called? I'm going to open it with Sublime. I'll try to remember to add a link to this, but yeah, these are all the different color palettes I have in here. So I've got tons and tons of color palettes in here. They're very easy to add in. Okay, so let's call it quits there. I'm going to save. I've got a little bit of cleanup work left to do on my tooltips. So for example, on this sheet, I don't actually want any tooltips on here. So I'm going to just get rid of my tooltips altogether. My time series, so classification group. So let's do year, and then let's do insert classification group, and then let's make this whole row 11. This whole row is going to be 14, and this is going to say inspections. Okay, so that looks good. I'm going to set the labels to match the mark color. Total inspections we don't need. So that looks good. That looks good. That looks good. Yeah, so I think that'll do it. Thanks very much for your time, everybody, and I'm going to call it quits there. I'll probably play around with it a bit more, but I think you get the idea. And thanks for tuning in. See you later.